I'm going to show you guys step by step how you can create your very own email opt-in landing page so you can start collecting email addresses and start increasing sales. What's up guys, Tristan Parker here, and I'm committed to helping you guys up your website design game and improve your business. Now today I'm running you through step by step how you can create your very own email opt-in landing page using WordPress and Elementor Pro. So last week I covered what an email opt-in landing page is and why your business needs one. So just to recap, we have our landing page and we send traffic to this page, and on the page has a lead magnet or your free valuable content. Now the way that people part way with their email address is through an online form. And once they've submitted that form, you'll send them to a thank you page. But what's more important is you will have the opportunity to upsell on that page, or you can enroll them into an email sequence. So today I'm going to be covering how you can produce this landing page section and how to create the online form. We won't be covering the thank you page or the email sequence in this tutorial. We're building this page in WordPress using Elementor Pro, so you can follow along step by step. Let's go. So the first thing we want to do is create a new page within WordPress and give it a name. Here we've called it opt-in landing page. Now before we edit this with Elementor, head over to the right hand side and make sure that within page attributes your template is Elementor canvas, and this is essentially going to remove the header and the footer from the page. Also, if you are using the Astra theme, there is an additional Astra settings panel that you can see here, and here you want to disable the primary header, the title, breadcrumb, featured image and the footer bar. So this will give us a completely blank canvas to work from. Now let's head over to the edit with Elementor and hit that button. So the way that we're going to structure our highly converting opt-in landing page is having our hero section at the top with our call to action, and the call to action is going to be our online form. Underneath there we're going to display the benefits of downloading our product. Then we're going to have a few testimonials from people that have benefited from the product, and then finally at the bottom we are having one final call to action. So let's start off with our main hero section. So head up to the plus, and we want to select a split layout, so we're going to half each panel. And you'll notice that we are given the split panel options at the top. So the first thing that I want to do is make this panel the entire height of the windows. So click edit section, head over to the layout, and we want to change the height to fit the screen. And you'll notice that this now stretches the entire height of the screen. Now on the left hand side we're going to be working with our title text and our online form, and on the right hand side we're going to place the image of our lead magnet. So I want to add an image in here, and the way that we go about doing that is keeping the panel selected and head over to style. So within background we have a few types that we can work with. We can have a classic background which will allow us to have a color or an image. You can have a gradient which is going to have one color fading into another. You can have a background video, and you can see that you can have the option to just embed a YouTube video, which is really nice if you have a nice subtle image that you'd like to play in the background, or you can have a carousel / slideshow. But for this instance we're just going to go with a classic background and we're going to add an image. So you can see that the layout isn't ideal. So the way that we fix that is by heading over to position and changing this to center is going to place everything in the center, but you can change these options to just fit the style of image that you're using. So you can change the image type to scroll or fixed, and if you choose fixed it's going to keep it in a fixed position while you scroll down the page. For this exercise I'm just going to leave this as default. We don't want the image to repeat, and the size of the image we want to be cover. Now this is going to ensure that the image covers the entire space that you are working with, and it's a great way for you to ensure that most of your image is visible. Now that we have our background added, we are going to be placing text and an image on top of this. So in order for our text to stand out, I'm going to want to add a subtle color overlay to our background image. Now we can do that by scrolling further down and going to background overlay. Again, you can choose a classic or gradient, Here we're just going with classic and we want to apply a color. I'm just going to go with black, and you'll notice that it's not 100% opacity at the moment, and that's because by default the opacity is set at 50%. Now let's add this up to around 60% and see how that looks. So for our opt-in landing page, we need to have a title. So head up to the top and hit the 9 dots and you'll be given all of the Elementor widgets that are available. Now for this, we are just using a title. You can click and drag that in there. So let's just rename this. Great, so this here is essentially a pre-header and somewhat of a call to action. So we're telling the user that they can claim a free copy. But now we need to explain a free copy of what. So we're going to add another title in here. Click and drop it in. And let's rename it. There we go. So this is the title of our lead magnet offer, and we want to make this a little bit stronger, a little bit bolder, so we need to change the style. So let's head up to style and play around with the typography, and we want the size of this, we can just drag it up and let's have that to size 70. So you'll notice that the line height isn't great, so again we can up that ever so slightly. 1.2 is a good reference. And we're going to want to change the color. So I reckon this needs to be white. There we go. And now you notice that the white is standing out on top of the darker background that we have on top of our background image, so that works really well. And before we add our form, I just want to add another piece of text. We'll sit underneath here. And this is going to relate directly to our lead magnet form. So our lead magnet is downloading a free copy of a guide. So we just want to say tell us we just want to get them to tell us where they want us to send the free guide. Great. Now I want to change this to a paragraph text, and then we're going to change the style of this ever so slightly. So 18 or 20 pixels is fine. Again, I want to add some weight on here just to make it stand out, and I want the color to be white. Now I want this to sit a little bit further away from our title text. I want this upper block to be slightly separate to our form text and our form. We can add some margin to our text here by clicking the pencil, go into advanced, and you'll see that we have a margin option here. Now if I just leave this checked, then any value that I place in this box is going to apply to all of them. So if we uncheck that, I just want to add margin to the bottom. So 30 pixels works quite nicely. Then we want to add our email subscribe form. So head back over to our widgets and let's just search for form. You can see that we have this option here, and again we can just click and drag it in. So already Elementor does a really great job of putting our form together. Now we just need to improve the style of this before we set up the form itself. So I don't really want the form to have labels because it takes up quite a lot of space and real estate. So we can turn those off by clicking the toggle on our labels, and you'll notice that they'll all disappear. Now if we head up to style, you will be able to change things like your form gap if you had 2 columns, or you can change your rows. You can apply label spacing, but we currently have that turned off. You can just play around with and you have a lot of options. You can change the text color in our fields, we can change the background color if we wanted to, but I'm happy with them just being white. You can change the border width, but more importantly I want to change the color of the button. So I want this to be blue, like so. And if you click hover, we can also change the color of our hover. So if we make that black and click off and hover over the button, you'll see that it has a very nice hover effect. So for an opt-in email contact form, we only really need 2 fields, and that is our name and our email address. I mean, you could at the very least just get away with having the email address, because that's the most important element that we are trying to collect here. I mean, after all, we are building up an email subscriber list. This means we don't need our message box. So we head back over to content, and we can just simply delete the message here, and you can add new items back in if you want. But deleting that will delete the message field from here. Once we've got rid of the message field, we just want to change the name on the button. So at the moment it says send, and I want to change this to send me the free guide. So there you go, already this is looking great. Now one final thing on the form is we are collecting leads, and more importantly we are building up a email subscriber list. So we want to amend our actions after submit. So at the moment it's just going to send an email, but what you want to do is hook this up to your email client. So whether you are using something like MailChimp or ActiveCampaign or ConvertKit, any one of these, you want to select which one you are using, and it's going to give you some additional fields. So let's take MailChimp for example. You would just need to find out what your API key is and place it in there, and then follow the further instructions in order to hook those up. Now I do have a video on how to hook up your MailChimp subscriber form to your Elementor form, so you can go and check that out. Now before we move on to the next section of the page, I actually want to add an image of what we have to offer here. So in this scenario we are offering a free ebook. Now something that I recommend you do, regardless as to what type of lead magnet you have to offer, whether it is an ebook or a webinar, just have some sort of image representations so your visitor can see what it is that you are offering. So I'm going to add an image of our ebook over here, drag in an image, and we want to choose our image by clicking choose image here, and we want to insert that. So this image is taking up quite a lot of our screen, so what we can do is just add some space in between our title and our image. We can head up to our columns, and I want to add a new column, so we can right click on edit column and simply add a new column, and this has added it to the far right, so we can click and drag that into the center, and now we have some nice separation between the two. Now the alignment of our title container is sitting at the top of this image, and I'd like it to sit in the center, across the center line. So we can change this by heading back up to our hero container and clicking these 6 dots to edit the section. Head over to layout. We want to change our vertical align to middle. And you'll notice everything is now placed in the middle, and if we preview that, it looks nice. So let's move on to our next section, which is where we're going to be talking about the benefits of our ebook. You can add a fresh container in here if you like, but what we're going to do in this to speed up time is just add some of our predefined Elementor templates. Now if you haven't seen this already, there's loads of predefined page layouts and templates within Elementor, so go and check them out and see which ones would work best for you. But for now, because we're working with features, I want to head up to our filtering tool and search for features. And this is going to bring back all of the containers that are relevant to talking about features. Now, I like this one, so I'm going to just insert that. So everything looks pretty good in terms of layout, so let's start changing the text. This looks really big, so I want to change the style of this, and we can go back to style, typography, and I'm going to change that to 30 pixels, or maybe 36. This piece of text here we don't need, so we can right click it and select delete. Now our image over on the left hand side, we want to make that more relevant to our content, so we can click the pencil to edit image, and we can replace this. I'm going to replace it with this one. So that looks great. So here we want to be talking about the features and the selling points of our ebook to encourage the user to download it. So here we're going to be talking about the features and the selling points of our ebook. So we want to make these more relevant. So let's edit one of these. So we can change the icon by clicking icon library, and I want to go with ticks, which I believe they are called checks. There we go, and let's enter one of these. So that looks great. So we want to change the title that we have here, and let's change this to the most effective way. And you can apply any text that you would like here. For now I'm just going to leave that as it is. Now the style of this text looks fine to me, but if you want to change it, you can just head to Style, Content, and you can change the typography like so if you wanted to change the size. You can change the typography if you like, but for now I'm just going to leave it as it is. One thing I do want to do is change the color of the icon. I'm going to select that to blue to fit in line with our branding that we're currently using. And it's just going to allow it to stand out a little bit more. And now the check is obviously quite a positive thing, and these are going to all want to be positive points. Now there's a couple of things that we can do. We can either duplicate these and delete these ones, like so. And you can relabel that. Or alternatively, we can right click this and copy, and we can right click this one and go to paste style. But this way we're still going to need to change the icon. And there we go. Now on to the next section. We want to add some social proof in the form of testimonials. So again, Elementor does have testimonial template blocks, and we can find those by heading to our filter and searching for testimonials. Now any one of these would work well, I'm sure, for your page, but I quite like, which one should we use? Yeah, I quite like this one. So we're going to insert that. And the first thing we want to do is change our title, and we're going to change this to how this Now this text is fairly large, and we can, like we have done in the past, go to Style and amend the typography and the sizing, or we can head up to this title, right click it, copy, and we can paste the style here. Now it has left aligned it, so we can just center align that again within our content area, and this ensures consistency throughout your titles, and it's really quick and easy. Now editing your testimonials, obviously I recommend uploading a new image. You can change the name of the person, which is currently Adam Sendler, and then you want to change their title. Currently it's a designer, so you could just put something like aged 36. You know, obviously these are people, and you're free to change that however you like. And you can add a link as well if you'd like to if you were wanting to link off to a business page or whatever. But in this scenario it doesn't really feel like that would fit, so we're just going to leave it as it is. Once you've sorted your testimonials and your social proof, then one final thing when we get to the bottom of the page is just have one final call to action, and this is essentially going to replicate what we have at the top. We just need to display this form one final time. So we can just add a container here. I'm going to go full width. Now one really cool thing that you can do with Elementor is copy elements and paste them further down the page. I've already showed you how you can paste styles, but we can actually copy and paste elements. So let's take this text for example. Let's copy that, head down to here, and I want to paste it. Now the text is there, so we want to make sure that we click and edit the text, but obviously because it's white we can't actually see it, so we do need to change the style of it. I want to amend that to black. Oh, why ain't it working? Before we add our form, we just want to add a title. So we can click and drag that in. Change this. And again, we can copy the style from this title and we can paste it here. Now we need to add our final form. Now one really cool thing that we can do with Elementor is not only can we copy a style and paste it into a new element, but we can actually copy an element from further up the page. We've already made all of the styles that we need to this form and set it up to work in the way that we need. So we can right click and copy that. And if we scroll back down, if we right click anywhere within our text and we just need to hit paste. And there you go, that's going to input our form right underneath, which is so quick and easy. And currently the form is spanning the full width of the page, so I want to add some padding to our container. So to do this, we want to hover over the container and make sure that our column is highlighted, and we want to click that. And we'll now be given edit options for our container. So to add margin or padding, head over to advanced. And remember, if I leave this checked, it's going to apply the sizing throughout each side of the container. So we want to uncheck that, and I want to add 200 pixels to the right and 200 pixels to the left. So there you go, you can see that it's much more balanced. And also I want to add 200 pixels to the bottom to make sure that the form is sitting away from the page. Now if we preview this by clicking this arrow here, you can see that the page looks really nice, and it's taken us around 20 to 25 minutes to set up. Each part of these elements are fundamental for your opt-in landing page because it helps build social proof, it talks about the benefits, and it's just going to encourage people to want to download the guide and part way with their email address, which means that you can start building up your email address collection and then you can market to them at any point. So it is a real strong moneymaker. So there you go, just to recap, you have now produced your very own email opt-in landing page. We've produced a nice hero section with our call to action and our value proposition. We've included the benefits of our lead magnet. We've included testimonials from people that have benefited from the lead magnet. And finally at the bottom, we have a final call to action, which is the online form that will get people to part way with their email address. So guys, I hope you found that valuable. There are loads of videos on this channel that are designed to help you up your website design game and improve your business. If you haven't done so already, hit that subscribe button and hit the bell notification if you want to be notified of further releases. And if you like the video, please give it a thumbs up because it helps other people find the content and it helps the YouTube algorithm. But that's it for now guys, and I'll catch you in the next one.